What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crocodile Lake, and today we are starting at chapter 17 of our song, A Standard Science Fanfic by ineedofsleep on Wattpad. If you'd like to check out the fic or the author for yourself, look in the description for the links. They are a really good author, and they deserve your support. And, without further ado, starting on chapter 17, Sign Up, Virgil's Point of View. We came out here for the presentation thing while they did something to the classrooms, and now almost all the high school was betting on something. I don't even know what. People are taking out money. They have right now signing papers. There were 4 papers that different students were signing while Roman and I watched from the sidelines. What the fuck? I screamed. Remy poked his head out from the crowd and started commanding people to let him through. You called? He approached me with his hands behind his back and strutting like he did when he was trying out new outfits at the mall. What the hell's going on? Why are all these papers, and why is everyone bringing money? I questioned. Roman moved to stand by me with a respectable amount of space. You didn't get any of what I just said? Oh well, I guess I gotta explain it. Since both of you signed up for the competition thing, I decided that you'll do it as partners. Now we are betting on who backs out, or if you guys back out at all. Which team wins will get all the money, of course. The readers are taking part in this too, but instead of money, they'll be getting whatever the hell the author can come up with. Oh god, not you too, I heard Roman mutter. I still don't understand what we get out of this. Well, Roman paused. Whoever backs out has to do whatever punishment the other can think of. Willow cut in. Sorry, I just overheard your conversation. That seemed to be what this one said before the crowd started forming. Punishment? I looked at Rowan. What if neither of us back out? Or both? Remy opened his mouth to answer, but immediately closed it to think. I wish I could help, but I have to meet up with Olive. Tell Dee I said bye. She went up to one of the helpers and said something before walking out of the parking lot. Remy looked back to the crowd and immediately went to stand on the table. Yo, I need ideas for what happens if these two back out, or neither of them back out. I honestly don't care, I shouted. Under my breath. Students started murmuring to each other before a few raised their hands, who knew Remy can control a whole damn school so well he could shut the hell up and respect someone, even if that someone is only 17 years old. You? Remy pointed at one of the people that raised their hand. If both of them quit, we could pick the punishment. A voice I recognized as Talon from my art class shouted. Remy pointed to another person. If neither of them back out, we could dunk you in water. Someone laughed. Maybe this won't be so bad. A few other people came up with ideas before Remy got tired and sat down on the table. He mumbled something to himself about readers before getting up and walking back to the table people were signing the papers at. It was lunch now. The principal let us back into the school a little while after whatever that was happened, so we went on with our regular classes. I was sitting under the tree I've been sitting at since Remy and me socialized with those people. I was currently humming the song that I now remembered the name of, and honestly, I was strangely at peace with myself. But then God decided to pull a 180 on my ass. Hi, Virgie. I opened my eyes and saw Remus approaching me. What do you need, a weirdo? Well, besides more lyrics for the song, the Elmo cult is making an air to breathe. Nothing much. Then what are you doing here? You never approach me. Damn, Virgil. I just want to get to know you. You are my brother's soulmate and all, so I want to get to know you. They're brothers? How the hell did I not notice this before? Or did I just forget? I suddenly got an idea. And this about me or Demetrius? Because I heard you and Roman had a little meeting with him at the cafe when he brought up Willow to meet up with Olive. I smirked. Time to set up the guide that dare take my right to sleepy time gummy snacks and make me take those disgusting pills with Sir Screams-a-Lot. What? I just want to see if you're right for my brother, he nervously chuckled. You ever been beheaded? Or beheaded a doll? What, a few? No. What the hell? Specifically an Elmo doll. Then set it on fire. Then threw it off a cliff. Then ate Pop-Tarts in celebration. Who in their right mind would do that? I never said we were in our right minds. Anyway, your turn to ask a question. Pass. Fine. I gotta go bother Roman anyway. Good luck with him at the competition. He skipped away, leaving me with my thoughts. I leaned back and closed my eyes and started humming again. But the Lord shall never leave me to have a break. Hey, babes. What you doing? I heard footsteps coming closer before stopping. I didn't bother open my eyes this time, but did stop humming. You okay, Virg? Dee's voice asked. Just tired, specifically of humans, I answered. He seems stressed. We should leave, another voice started before Remy cut him off. He's just like that, and besides, I'm his brother, and it's basically my job to annoy him. He laughed. I opened my eyes and saw the boy from Roman's table. He had strawberry blonde hair, pale blue eyes, light pink glasses, and a light brown cardigan. Who's this? I asked. Sorry. Emil Picani. Do you? How do? I looked at Remy and smirked. He started blushing before Dee cut in. Stop being mean to your brother. In public. Emil looked at us, confused, and brushed it off. So, Emil, did you bet on Roman and Virgil? Actually, yes. I bet $6 on neither of them backing out. I don't usually bet on stuff, but I believe in these guys. He smiled. This guy's way too cheery for this world. Kind of reminds me of the barista at that cafe that made the pun. Speaking of the bets, Remy started, you should see the list of people that sign up. People really think one of you is going to back out. He dug in a bag before pulling out 4 papers, each now full of signatures and different amounts of money. The papers each had titles. Roman backs out, Virgil backs out, both back out, neither back out. Damn. There's a lot more than what Roman told me he saw. Maybe if I stop talking to him again, people will see this bet as something stupid that seems like some stupid thing to help the plot in a book. I don't remember a thing you said earlier about what this is, so please explain again. I handed him back the papers and crossed my arms. I don't want to explain this shit. Emil, can you please explain to my idiot baby brother what these signatures are for? He leaned his head on Emil's and made puppy eyes. I'm definitely planning their wedding. Emil sighed and playfully pushed Remy, making him fall against the grass. I'm not even mad, just gonna take a nap here. Well, Emil started, the people that heard you and Roman arguing, or whatever you guys were doing, thought you guys challenged each other. Sorry. But someone interrupted that as you guys were teaming up. This led to everyone making bets on if one of you would back out or and who. Everyone started betting money, and whichever team wins the bet, they'll get the money. Yeah, that's usually how bets work, I mumbled. So people think Roman and I are teaming up on that singing competition? I never agreed to this. Whoever backs out gets to suffer a punishment from the other, Dee added. Oh, I'm definitely winning this shit. Later on. Yo, bitch-ass motherfucker Roman, I called as school got out. He stopped and turned around. Remus turned to look at me before smiling and walking to Dee. Yes, creepy cookie? He smiled. Oh God, he might as well be the sun. Way too bright and hard to look at. We're doing that singing thing together. What? I thought you'd think it's stupid and still go by yourself. Whoever backs out first has to suffer a punishment. I'm not backing out. He thought of for a moment, before smiling even wider. I have a even better idea than punishments. If you back out, you have to go on a date with me. If I back out, I'll leave you alone for however long you want. I thought about this for a moment. Deciding a punishment by myself would have been better, but I can't decide things for the life of me. And Roman leaving me alone will let me do my own thing without having troubles of soulmates. Ha, deal. Chapter 18. Haha, I'm lonely. Dee's point of view. We only have a minute, and you guys are done with your lesson for today, so you guys could leave, the teacher said. Immediately, everybody started putting their notebooks in their backpacks and leaving the classroom. I was one of the first people out of the classroom. I ran to the bathroom and made sure nobody was there before taking out my phone. Willow texted me while we were talking to Virgil, but I didn't have time to respond before class started. I also had to call Mr. Vanta to update him on how things were going with Virgil and Remy. Willow. I'm meeting up with Olive in a bit. What do I wear? Brint boy. Sorry I couldn't help you earlier. Did it go well? Willow. I think so. I hope so. Brint boy. School just got out, so I'll meet you later? Willow. Meet me at the cafe on 4th Street. Brint boy. Yep. I called Mr. Vanta. Sorry, the mic fell. I called Mr. Vanta and waited a moment before he picked up. Demetrius, how are my sons doing? They're fine. A little trouble at school earlier, but nothing major. Trouble? What kind of trouble? Did they get into a fight? Did they win? No, sir. They didn't get into a fight. Remy just caused a little crowd while someone was talking about a singing competition coming up. What singing competition? There's one coming up to help raise money at the local animal shelter. Remy sadly signed the 3 of us up and caused a crowd for betting on something with Virgil. People betting on Virgil? They better be betting on him winning. My son is stubborn and won't back down. Damn right he is, I mumbled. School year just ended. Not school year. I'm sorry, sir. School just ended. Bye, sir. Goodbye, Demetrius. I hung up and let a formal personnel go. Just on time, the bell rang and I ran out in the hallway and to the courtyard. I waited for Remy and Virg. I saw Virg walking out, but he immediately called Roman and talked to him for a few minutes. And he says he doesn't like soulmates. It's kind of hard to miss Remy when he now has a few people following him and people bowing down to him whenever he shows up. What the fuck did he do to the school? Hey, Snake Eye! I flinched and looked to see Remus standing in front of me. What you doing? Waiting for Remy and Virg, I said plainly, as if I don't think I might like him. You don't really explain how you know them besides I'm their cousin, he mimicked. And the author won't let me read any damn chapters explaining Virgil or Remy's life. Were you the one that made Remy talk about all this Arthur and book shit? Remy breaks the 4th wall too? Why don't the readers fucking tell me anything? Anyway, I was wondering if you'd like to hang out. Maybe go wrestle some birds or people watch. Or I can show you pictures I made of a raccoon eating a squirrel. He sounded excited. I will never understand him. Then again, I just met him. I was actually going to meet up with Willow at the cafe. I can ask if you can join us. She is a bit shy, though. Oh, which cafe? The one we met up with her last time. Sure, I'll text my papa. I pulled out my phone and quickly asked Willow if Remus could join us. Can a friend join us? Is it the purple one or the one with the sunglasses? The one that was talking with Olive when you met up with her. Oh, is he your soulmate? Most likely not. Can he join us? I guess. Remy finally made his way over to me, and I put my phone away. Roman and Virgil soon followed. Remus fell behind us, probably to tell Roman about hanging out with me and Willow. Virgil and Remy had their own conversation. I wasn't really paying attention. I turned, so I was walking backwards to see Remus and Roman walking behind us. Remus had headphones on and Roman seemed deep in thought. I slowed down, so I was in front of Remus. I tapped on his shoulder to make him look up. He took off his headphones. Meet me at the cafe in about an hour. He nodded and slipped his headphones back on. He is so weird. He could be the loudest person in the room at times and completely silent at others. Later in the day, Dee shouted, "I'm leaving, don't kill anyone, don't hurt each other." I quickly walked out the door before either of them could respond. I looked at the car, wishing I had my permit, but settled on walking. I put my headphones on and started playing the first playlist I saw on Spotify. I didn't even realize when I made it to the front door of the cafe. I saw off my headphones and walked in. Willow wasn't there yet, so I walked to the counter. The same man from last time was there. He smiled, seeing me, and I awkwardly smiled back. I looked at the menu hanging over the counter. Can I get a medium mocha? Sure, kiddo. Isn't it a beautiful day for coffee? A pun, seriously. I love coffee, a latte, I responded. Of course, not as much as Remy. I like that pun, a latte. He laughed. He turned around and started making my order. Oh, you're Roman and Remus's friend, right? Yeah, I guess. You're their dad, correct? You know about Remus meeting me and my friend here to hang out? Oh, no? He probably told Logan. He turned around and handed me my cup. The bell above the door rang, signaling someone entered. I turned around and saw Willow. She smiled and walked towards me. We walked and talked for a moment before walking to a table in the corner. A few minutes later, Remus walked into the cafe and ordered something before walking to us. Hey, Beanie Guy 2.0. Sup, raccoon-eating squirrel. Huh, you remembered. He laughed and sat next to me. Hello, love. You must be Willow. I'm Remus, fourth wall breaker, leader of the Elmo cult, and your local trash man. Elmo cult? I think Oh My Cash mentioned something about that. They never really told me about what happened. Yes, they did an amazing help in helping eliminate that devil. What the hell is going on right now? Willow doesn't even seem nervous. Do they know each other? No, it doesn't really seem like they know each other, and who the fuck is Oh My Cash? So, Demetrius, you said something about meeting your soulmate when we video called the other day? Remus flinched a bit, but I didn't know why. I scratched my arm subconsciously before answering. Yeah, they seem nice. It'd be nice if I actually saw them, though. I mumbled the last part. They didn't seem to hear it, so I'm fine. I'm lonely. Yay! Good job, little brother. Wait, you guys are siblings? How dare you not tell me these things? Remus leaned on me dramatically. I now see him and Roman are brothers. We're not siblings. The only sibling I have is in a different country, but she's like a sister to me, so we call each other brother and sister. I explained. Willow laughed and we continued our conversation. A little later, they were continuing to talk. Between 1 and 10 trillion. What's your phone number? Remus asked as we walked out of the cafe. Willow had to leave because she had night classes, so we decided we should leave too. I have left Virgil and Remy alone for way too long. Smooth, you use that for everyone? Just you, burnt toast. I laughed and told him my number. We said our goodbyes and I started walking back home. What a fuckheart. You're not supposed to do this to me. This betrayal. Time skip. I'm home. You guys didn't text me the whole time, so I'm going to assume nothing happened. Fuck. I walked into the living room to see Virgil duct taped to the wall, a card chalkboard with different pictures of weddings, and Remy nowhere to be found. Remy, where the hell are you? I called out. I heard footsteps from upstairs, and I saw Remy running down the stairs. He stopped in front of me and nervously chuckled. Hey, Dee. How you been? It's not what it looks like. Just saying that right now. Really? It isn't what it looks like. 'Cause it looks like you taped a Virgil to the fucking wall and filled a chalkboard with wedding pictures. Okay, it's totally what it looks like. But in my defense, those pictures are what the readers are planning for my wedding, and I'm all for it. That does not fix the situation. Help me get Virgil down. Chapter 19. Sorry. Emil's point of view. After school, my mama picked me up and drove me back to our house. We got home and walked into the house. Mama turned to me and spoke. That's basically your dad went on a business trip. She didn't speak good English, which is part of the reason Dad gets mad at her a lot. I nodded and looked around the house. She already picked up most of the glass bottles and beer cans. I could smell the Febreze she sprayed to cover the alcohol smell. It almost seemed like a different house. A house without him. I helped pick up the rest and wash out stains they left. Mama. In English, I'm done. Can I go to my room? Of course. Dinner will be made in an hour. I ran to my room and flopped on my bed. My room was the only clean room in the house, mostly because Mama wouldn't let Dad into it. I relaxed a bit before deciding to text the group chat. Emil. Hey guys, you want to hang out? Thomas. I'm with Joan right now. Whose house are we meeting at? Roman. We can meet at my house. Dad seems to like you guys, and Remus went out with a friend. Joan. Sure, we'll be there in a bit. Emil. Ask my mama. Hey, Mom, can I go to Roman's house? I walked around to the kitchen where she was looking through the cookbook. She looked confused for a moment before recognizing Roman's name. She nodded and pointed to her watch, telling me not to be long. I smiled and walked to Roman's house. I was the last to arrive, but no one seemed to care. We sat in Roman's room and talked a bit. Hey, Roman, you excited to work with Virgil for the singing competition? Joan asked. Actually, we made our own little bet earlier involving that. I get to take the emo nightmare out on a date if he backs out. And I'll leave him alone for however long he wants if I back out, which I won't be doing. He smiled. What happens if both of you back out, or neither? Thomas asked. Roman seemed shocked for a second. He really didn't think about this. Then again, neither did Remy when he started the whole thing. We didn't really talk about that. I'll ask him about it tomorrow. When is the competition, anyway? I think a bit before school gets out, I answered. We'll probably have to look at the flyer or ask Brad, Chad, or Kyle about it. Everyone nodded, and silence fell upon us. Hey, Em? Thomas turned to face me. Yeah? Can you sing your song? You haven't sung it to us since grade 8. I chuckled a bit before seeing Roman and Joan looking at me with pleading eyes. I don't know why they like my song so much. I'm not much of a singer, but they always ask me to sing it for them. I'm not getting out of this. I chuckled. Not as long as I'm gay, Roman laughed. I giggled and took a breath before singing. I didn't recognize any of the lyrics that were coming out of my mouth. I just kept singing, let the words flow. I paused for a second because I forgot the lyrics, but I kept singing. I finished my song. I stopped when everyone showed a shocking expression. Then it hit me. That's not my soulmate song. That's a sad song. My soulmate. I broke down crying. I don't know who it was that called for Roman's dads. I don't know who it was to move me to one of the twins' beds. I don't know who it was that answered my phone when it started ringing. I just cried, and soon I was asleep. Time skip. I woke up on Roman's bed. I looked around to see Thomas asleep next to me. Joan was sitting on the floor, leaning against the bed asleep, and Roman wasn't there. I tried to get out of bed without waking anybody, but that didn't really go well. Thomas grabbed my arm and looked up at me. You okay, Em? I took a breath to process what happened before answering. Yeah, I'll be fine. It happens. I didn't even know them. I'll be fine. I'm sure it sounds more like I'm telling myself that, but I just need some fresh air right now. And Thomas nodded and reached up to wake Joan. Let them sleep. I'm just going to take a walk. I'll call you guys if anything changes. He nodded and handed me my phone from where I was sitting on the bedside table. I made my way through Roman Remus's house and got to the front door. I opened it and stepped outside. I took a few deep breaths and started walking around the block. I checked my phone to see a few texts from Mama, 2 missed calls from Remy, and a few texts from Remy. I clicked on Mama's first. Mom. Are you okay, baby? Mama. Pat didn't tell me what happened. Call me soon. Me. I'm fine, Mama. I'm just taking a walk. I'll be home soon. Mama. Okay, come home soon. I smiled a bit and clicked on the text from Remy. Remy, where would your dream wedding be? Remy, and would you go on a honeymoon or stay home? Emil? You okay, Em? Yeah, something just came up. I think I would want a wedding in a meadow, up on a cliff, and a honeymoon would be nice. Why? Thank fucking God. I thought you up and died or some shit. But no reason. Just trying to get opinions on something. You mind if I video called you? Of course not, Ems. I pressed the call button and Remy immediately picked up. He seemed to fit with the phone for a moment before putting it on a surface and going to one side of the screen. What's up, cutie? It sounded like duct tape that was being ripped off something. Just walking for now. What are you doing? Dee came home, so I got in trouble for taping Virgil to the wall. I have to take him off now. By myself now. He paused to look at me. Have you been crying? He picked up the phone and seemed to be studying what he could see through the screen. Yeah, something happened. I looked away from the phone a bit. Remy was silent for a minute before the sound of tape ripping off something came through. It got so loud that I had to turn down the volume. It went on for a minute before a thud. I looked at the screen to see Remy holding Virgil with his mouth of duct tape shut. Remy ripped off the tape, which Virgil barely let out any noise of pain. He looked ready to kill someone. How do you help me when... Remy trailed off. Why, asshole? Came Virgil's voice. They seemed to whisper something before Virgil looked at me. Emil, tell me what happened. So I explained it. I explained going over to Roman's house, them asking me to sing my song, and the song changing partway through, even me breaking down. It'll be fine, Emil. Just go home and do stuff that makes you happy. Listen to music that makes you feel better. Drink plenty of water and eat food that makes you feel better. Is this still Virgil? From what I've seen, he isn't so caring, and from what Roman tells me, he isn't like this. Does this have something to do with a secret past? Like rose quartz and pink diamond. I nodded, and Virgil handed the phone back to Remy. You want some company? He asked. He seemed a little tense, but I assume that's from me almost breaking down while on the phone with him and his brother. That'd be nice. I'll text you my address. All right. I'll see you soon, Ems. See you soon, Rems. Chapter 20. Soulmates and Remus. Roman's point of view. I walked back to my room to see Joan still asleep and Thomas scrolling through his phone. He looked up at me and pointed to Joan. He placed a finger over his lips, signaling to be quiet. I, unlike my brother in these situations, nodded and sat on my own bed next to him. Where's Emil? I whispered. He woke up and went on a walk. He told me he'll call us if anything happens. I nodded and relaxed a bit. Remus got home a bit ago and flopped on the couch. He kept mumbling about his heart betraying him and some other stuff. Suddenly, Thomas's phone started ringing. He picked it up and put it on speaker. Hey guys, I'm at home. Mama's worried about me and I've already been gone too long. Emil's voice came through the phone. Okay, thanks for telling us, Thomas said. I know you guys. If I didn't tell you, then you'd probably freak out thinking I got kidnapped, Emil sighed. At least you don't have to bravely rescue you from any fiend, I said, posing even though he couldn't see me. Alright guys, I'm almost home. Later, we both said. The phone hung up and we looked down at Joan. They were sleeping like a baby. Well, they're in my house, and so you gotta be waking up in some way everybody else does. I stood up and walked downstairs to see Remus watching La La Land. Okay, he only watches this when something's wrong. Remus, what you doing? He looked up at me and immediately pressed his face back into a pillow. He said something into a pillow that any other person wouldn't be able to understand. What's wrong with your heart now? He mumbled again. I sat down on the couch and leaned my head against the armrest. This have something to do with that crush of yours? He nodded. Anything else? He mumbled something again. Planning Emil's wedding? What? He didn't answer me after that. A little bit later, both of our dads drove us to school. Father said he had to drop Dad off at daycare before heading to the lab, something about a scientific study of soulmates going there. He made it sound technical. Remus hangs out with us after school, but I don't think anybody really minds. I'm still a bit worried about Emil, though. Sure, he returned to normal last week, but yesterday was something. He walked to where Thomas and Joan were talking and to Emil. Remus looked a little confused as to why Thomas and Joan were hugging him and asking if he was okay over and over again. Hey guys, Em waved at me between the arms trapping him. Guys, I think you can let go of Emil now. Please, it's getting hard to breathe. Thomas and Joan laughed a bit and let him go. Did I miss something yesterday? Remus asked. I was about to answer before the bell rang. We all walked to our different classes, not saying anything else. My first class, English, was usually very boring. We read a chapter of the book. Mr. Rayleigh was making us read and answer questions. Nothing usually happened. But today was completely different. Today we won't be reading. He started earning a few cheers or groans, which he quickly shut up. Because yesterday was a tragic day for a classmate. I'm sure some of you heard about Cameron Banks and his father getting into a car accident. Sadly, Cameron did not survive, so we will be taking this class period to be writing cards for his family. Cameron's gone? Yesterday? Wait! Mr. Rayleigh, may I go to the bathroom? He nodded, and I ran out of the door looking for the math class. I quickly found it and just down the hall and knocked on the door. The teacher answered and asked what I was doing. May I speak to Emil Picani for a moment? It's on the topic of Cameron Banks. The teacher seems skeptical, but called Emil. What's going on, Ro? He asked as soon as the door was shut. I think Cameron was your soulmate. He seemed to be processing this before sliding down the wall. They got into a crash yesterday and didn't survive. Around the same time you were at my house. I gotta think about this for a bit. Thanks for telling me, Ro. He stood up and walked back into class. Maybe I should have waited until after school. Then I was like, no, I found a shotgun, and I want the front seat, Thomas said, finishing his story. Yo, sourcing a lot. Come on, we gotta talk. I looked down to see Brad Pitiful standing there. He motioned me to follow him. He never willingly starts the conversation. What? I looked to Remy, who was sitting at our table, and he just shrugged. I stood up and started walking with Charlie frown. What's this about, oatmeal raisin cookie? I asked after a few minutes of silence. The singing thing. He motioned to the poster. Only a few weeks away. And if we're going to do this together, then we need to decide what song we're singing. And don't even try to suggest that song. I sighed and started thinking of songs we could sing if neither of us backs out. Wait. What are we going to do if neither of us back out? Or both of us? I asked. If neither of us backs out, then we could carry on with our regular lives. If both of us back out, I don't know. He shrugged. I nodded and started thinking of songs. We stopped at the bleachers. He leaned against them and started humming while I paced thinking of a song. What are you humming? A song. Very specific. I just think of the bell rang. Never mind, we'll talk about it later. You could come to my house, or we can meet up at the cafe to talk, I suggested. Dio would probably tell Remy to tag along or some shit, or tag along himself, but sure. I'll see you at the cafe after school. And with that, he walked away. Later on that day. I'm going to the cafe, I yelled, passing Father's office. Bring Remus. I stopped and walked to the door of the office. Why? Go look in the hall closet and try to tell me he doesn't need you socialize. I looked at him with a questioning face before walking to the end of the hall. I pulled open the door and just stared at him. Remus, my twin, my blood relative, the only person that understands me more than himself, was sitting between two shelves with a bag of goldfish, Cheez-It, and my damn laptop. God darn it, now I have to make him socialize. Come along, dear brother. We shall travel to the cafe. Nah, I'm watching Hunchback Notre Dame, and it's at the part where he gets mistreated by evil guy. Also, have to help the readers with your wedding. Ignoring the wedding part, Father said you have to come with me to the cafe. Bring the laptop if you want. He groaned, but started trying to get out. He reached out his arm for me to help. Time skip. I opened the door for my lovely twin. Dad wasn't working at the cafe today, but we knew everybody here, so it wasn't much of a difference. I pointed to a table for Remus to claim for us and went to order some drinks and probably a chocolate chip muffin. I walked to the table to see Remus had already opened the laptop and continued his movie. I sat across from him and slid it so we could both see it. Minutes later, Mason called me to get our drinks. I ordered them so Remus should get them. After a minute of arguing, he came back with 2 drinks and what's left of my muffin. Bell noises. I looked to see Virgil, Remy, and Demetrius and Emile walking to the counter. Virgil looked at me and walked over, soon followed by Demetrius. "Sup, weirdos," Demetrius said and sat down next to Remus. "We're watching a tragic story about a disformed boy being hidden from the world, only to fall in love with a beautiful girl that loves a handsome, not deformed man," Remus answers. Demetrius looks confused before Virgil snapping his fingers. "Hunchback of Notre Dame." I looked at him with disbelief. I didn't even get that, and I knew the movie we were watching. Apparently Remus and Demetrius were surprised too, because Virgil let out an awkward chuckle and started talking again. I know my Disney movies and the bad lessons that come with them. Anyway, Roman, let's talk about the singing thing, whatever. I ignored him saying Disney has bad lessons and nodded. Remus pulled out some earbuds from his pocket and gave them one to Demetrius so they could watch the movie. "Have you thought of a song yet?" "Not really. There are only a few, but now that I think about it, they're stupid." Time skip. "So, you and Demetrius?" I smirked at my twin while he sat on the bed looking up something on his laptop for once. He blushed and didn't say anything. "Are you guys dating? Do you love him? What were you gonna do while Virgin and me were talking?" "Virgin I," Father yelled from downstairs. "So?" "Shut the hell up, I have a soulmate." "Ah, yes, and they are the reason you sneak out at midnight?" 2 a.m., first of all, and second of all, maybe they are fuckwad. We laughed before getting called down to dinner. Soulmates and Remy. Virgil's point of view. Remy taped me to a wall, so I'm taping all his heels, jackets, and sunglasses, and lipstick to the ceiling. He went to Emile's house, and Dee is in the kitchen making dinner, so this is the perfect time. I grabbed the extra roll of duct tape that Remy didn't use and a ladder. I started digging around and eventually finding 10 different sunglasses and taped them to the ceiling. Then 13 pairs of heels, then 4 leather jackets, and 19 different shades of lipstick. By the time I was done, Remy had texted me saying he was on his way back. I started moving the ladder into my room and grabbed any evidence that it was me. Thank God I paid attention. Sometimes, when Father explained what police look for in evidence. I stopped at the door to make sure I remembered everything. I see my gloves and ran to grab them. I hear the front door opening and I ran to my room and yeet myself on the bed. I play on my phone for a few minutes before hearing, "Where the fuck is my lipstick?" I laugh a little before hearing Remy stomping around and almost ripping off my door. "You!" "Me?" I asked in the most innocent voice I can manage without laughing. "Where's my stuff?" "What stuff? You gotta be more specific." "Lipstick? Sunglasses? Where the hell are they?" "Keep your head up. Maybe you'll find them." "Why, you little..." "Dinner's done." Remy turns his head, then looks back at me, sliding his fingers across his neck. I roll my eyes and get up. Time skip. Remy did find his stuff last night when he was getting ready for bed, and he did get mad, but Dee told him, "You taped your brother to a wall so you could get yo shit down yourself." Anyway, I talked to Roman about the singing competition thing, and we're meeting up at the cafe down the street in a bit. "Hey, asshole," I called. "What, bitch?" "I'm meeting up with someone at the cafe." "Who?" "Roman. I'm coming with you." "Why?" "'Cause I said so." He started walking down the stairs and stopped to put on his shoes. "Remy's coming too. I don't trust him home alone." "Where are we going?" Remy appeared behind me. "Cafe," Dee answered. "Sweet. They put their jackets on and started walking to the cafe. We would drive, but Remy being the asshole, and neither Dee or me can drive. Remy was talking about the different types of coffee, and Dee was pretending to listen. I was thinking about different songs to sing at the contest thing, but I can't think of any. Hey guys! A cheery voice came from across the street. I looked over to see Emile waving at us. Remy stopped talking about caramel frappuccinos and smiled at Emile, and he walked over to us. What you doing? Cafe, I said, and continued walking. Remy was now talking to Emile. Dee was looking at something on his phone, and I had This Is Gospel playing in my head. Before I knew it, we were at the cafe. We go up to order some drinks, and I see Roman and Remus. Dee and I walk over to sit beside them. Remy and Emile sit at another table. I'm definitely teasing them about this later. It was getting late, and we had to go home. By that I mean Dee and Remus finished watching their movie, and Dee wanted to go home. We dragged Remy out by his feet and started walking home. So, Remus. I smirked, and Dee laughed when he looked at me with a red face. He your soulmate? Most likely no. I don't go around singing my song like you, dummy. Yes, I saw the video Remy took of you two. I sent a glare to Remy because I did. No, he took a video of us. What? You met your soulmate and I'm not supposed to take a video or that? Nobody took a video of you and Isaac, I mumbled. At least I'm not lovey-dovey with Emile. If you were, I would kill you. Only I get to be lovey-dovey with wait. I laughed as Remy realized what he just said. Hey Dee, when are you meeting up with your mysterious soulmate again? I asked. None of your damn business. Just asking. Time skip. I heard the front door opening and closing. I looked at the time. 2 a.m.? Who the hell's going through the front door at 2 a.m. in the morning? I rolled out of bed and looked out the window to see someone in dark clothing walking away from the house and to the park down the street, so I naturally grabbed my coat and some shoes and follow. I hurry out the door and follow the person at the distance. I can't see how tall they are because of the distance. Damn, I should have checked who wasn't in bed. I followed them all the way to the park and hid behind some bushes when they stopped at a tree. I stopped moving a bit and finally saw who it was. Demetrius? I sat down and watched what he was doing. He pulled out a book and a little flashlight and started reading. Suddenly, a whistle came from down the path. The whistling continued and stopped. Dee put his book down and whistled back. After a while, Dee and whoever it was talked. Dee got up and started walking in the direction we came from. After he was out of earshot, I got up. I walked over to the tree and sat down where Dee was. So, who are you? I asked them. What the fuck? Who are you? I asked first. I'm guessing you either followed me or them here? Yeah, I saw them walking down the street. Didn't think anybody was awake at this hour. You saw somebody walking on the street and your first natural instinct was to follow them? Damn, the author really makes extra dumb. Who you calling an extra? And what you talking about, our author? This isn't Gravity Falls, I snapped back. The second time a person talked about Gravity Falls. Anyway, since you probably don't know who you are following or what my relation is with them, you want to see me or some shit? They asked. Sure, I got nothing better to do at 2 a.m. in the damn morning. We laughed before I stood up and walked to the other side of the tree. Remus? Virgil? Damn, I guess the author makes their main characters dumb. Shut the hell up. So, what are you doing here this early in the morning? You promise not to tell shit? Sure. That person is my fucking soulmate, and the author is being a real bitch and giving me feelings and all that shit. Oh shit. Oh, shit. Cool. Time skip. I poked at my Pop-Tart thinking about what happened earlier this morning. Dee met up with Remus, and they're soulmates, but they don't know who they're talking to, so they don't know they're soulmates. I looked at Dee, who was taking a bite from his Pop-Tart while scrolling through his phone. I looked over at Remy, who was eyeing the toaster. Hey. I spoke up. What? They said. I invited someone to walk with us to school today. Who? Roman? Remy teased. I scoffed. No, bitch. You'll see when we start walking. Well, start walking when Remy's Pop-Tart gets out of the toaster. Remy ran to it and grabbed out his Pop-Tart. Hot, but now as hot as me. We walked out the door with Remy, and we were eating our breakfast, and I led them to the end of the street, waiting for Remus. He showed, holding a box of Cheez-Its. You invited one of the weirdos to walk with us? Remy asked. Yep. I started walking in the direction of the school, with them soon following. Cheez-It. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to hear more, stay tuned in for next week. So subscribe, hit the notification bell to get next week's chapters. If you look in the description below, there's links to all my social medias, such as Wattpad, Instagram, Twitter, things like that. I have a link to my second channel where I go live, and a link to a Google form where you can recommend Wattpad Read Aloud books. I am looking at the submissions, and some great pics are on there, and I'll be reading them very soon. I cannot thank you enough for watching, and, like always, do your best!